Webster defined addict this way: to devote or surrender oneself to something habitually or obsessively. Recovering addicts Kim and Graham define it this way:
I did things that I thought I would never do.
It was basically just a total nightmare. Getting up in the morning, wanting to use immediately just to kind of deal with all the shame and the guilt.
I could not put drugs or alcohol down for a whole 24-hour period.
It just got to a point where it was unbearable.
OxyContin and cocaine on a daily basis. $1,200 a day habit.
Booze was really, the main crutch. That was the thing that I always went back to. There were other drugs, cocaine, stuff of that nature that kind of helped me drink longer.
I stole from my parents.
We just got to a point where I didn't know how to tell the truth. It was just such a downward spiral.
I was in a state of complete, utter, total self-loathing, depression, misery.
It was absolutely miserable. It was just an absolutely miserable existence.
I wanted to die.
Once a person becomes addicted to mood-altering substances, it affects every area of their life, and from the outside in, they begin to lose everything from outside relationships to jobs to family to even themselves. Addiction affects a person spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally, and it affects everyone that they have a relationship with.
There's several causes of the disease of addiction. Genetics is part of it. 40 to 60% of the people that suffer from this disease have a genetic component to it. And the other is the use of a drug, and then with other outside environmental influences affecting the continuation of the use of that drug.
Substance abuse treatment has evolved over the past 50 years. While a variety of treatments have been developed, the tried and true 12-step approach is the one many treatment professionals believe is the most effective.
Carl Jung, a long time ago, identified addiction as being a spiritual issue, needing a spiritual solution. The 12 steps are exactly that. They're a spiritual solution to a spiritual problem. They are spiritual principles that present a way of life, that if someone lives that way of life, they will be able to live free from the need to use mood-altering chemicals.
With more than 20 years of individual victories over drug and alcohol addiction, Hanley Center in West Palm Beach, Florida, has provided people with the tools to attain and maintain their freedom through addiction recovery. Gender and age often play a critical role in the course of treatment. For those reasons, Hanley Center provides dedicated gender and age-specific treatment paths that have effectively helped many people to recover from the pain of addiction.
Here at the Hanley Center, we have 4 distinct programs specifically addressing the barriers to recovery that a woman may face. So we have a women's program, a man may face, and the issues that surround the addiction in men. And then the boomer population, those born between 1946 and 64, we have a separate unit, and the older adult unit that bring, again, a whole other set of barriers to their recovery.
For everyone that comes in here, the problem is the same, addiction. The solution is the same, recovery. But for different ages and genders, there are different barriers to getting to the solution. By creating 4 age and gender specific programs, we help people overcome barriers that are specific to them so that everyone can achieve sobriety.
Hanley Center's highly trained addiction therapists help men and women with the integration of the 12 steps to make the connection between their alcohol and drug use and their problems, and to learn to reconnect with their sense of self.
I believe what's unique about the Hanley Center is that we truly customize our treatment plans for our patients. We have our own model, the Hanley model, that we've looked at as part of our research consortium, actually. And we treat the emotional, the spiritual, the physical, the psychological, the medical, the psychiatric, all at one time. So that's going to look different for different patients.
A disease that affects the brain and that affects the body, that affects the family, that affects the individual psychologically, if you only treat part of that, you're not going to find full recovery. To effectively treat this disease that's multisystemic, your treatment has to also be multisystemic. And so we use physicians, psychotherapists, counselors, chaplains, and spiritual care professionals all in a team to defeat the disease that is multisystemic.
While advances in science have shown that addiction is indeed a disease, medical technology commonly used to diagnose other illnesses has not been integrated into standard addiction treatment programs. However, Hanley Center recently began using SPECT scans to capture brain images of patients with alcohol and drug addiction, which Hanley Center's medical staff can use to design more effective patient treatment programs. Dr. Daniel Amen, a psychiatrist and pioneer in brain imaging, is partnering with Hanley Center to read and interpret the scans, to train its staff, and to conduct research.
SPECT imaging, first of all, is a blood flow study. It's single photon emission computed tomography. It's a CAT scan of the brain using nuclear medicine, essentially. And what it does is gives you the flow to the brain, and because we understand the areas in the brain that are affected by addiction, it shows those areas if there's normal flow, increased blood flow, decreased blood flow, or if there's been brain trauma. It will show that on the SPECT scan.
As patients move through one of Hanley Center's treatment programs, the staff ensures that they leave with the necessary tools to move forward on their journey of recovery.
It's been an absolutely amazing journey. I mean, it's been a great 3 years. Not always easy by any means, but you know, when I think back to how things were compared to things now, it's just, I mean, it almost seems like a second life.
Graham has since returned to Hanley, not as a patient, but rather as an employee in the center's bookstore.
When I was at Hanley, I knew that I wanted to come back here and I wanted to work here. You know, the people that helped me and the people that, you know, basically saved my life were just such angels in my life that, you know, what better purpose than to come back and be able to give back and to, you know, obviously make this, you know, a mission of mine in my life and do whatever I can to help.
My life today is absolutely amazing. It's been almost 7 years and a 180. It's incredible. I am married today. I have a wonderful, wonderful husband, a good man. I have 2 gorgeous children, 3 and 1.5. That are the lights of my life. I am a stay-at-home mother and I'm an effective mother. Like, I'm present in their life every single day. I get to be present. Sorry. I get to be present for my family today. My family back at home in Virginia love me and trust me today. It's second to none. My life is second to none today.
Since its humble beginnings 20 years ago to the world-class treatment center that it is today, Hanley Center has helped thousands of individuals and families struggling with addiction find their way from hopelessness to hope. To learn more about Hanley Center and its programs, call today or visit hanleycenter.org.